can see the poke coming out from Polk, the poke coming out from Memento, and they just can't hard engage onto this Baroned up team. They feel that they're too weak. Now all of the momentum is in Infused's favor. It's definitely this swing, this feeling of momentum has swung all of a sudden in Infused's favor, and now they're looking to take this in tower.
And I think they've got the potential to do it pretty easily if they just commit to walking up and hitting it a few times. Maybe split pushing with Alfari would be better, but he doesn't have teleport, so they got to do what they got to do here. Now, interestingly, we were talking earlier about how if you're a poke comp, it can be kind of hard to take inner towers. The problem is, there's so many places you can get collapsed on by... Oh, Toaster, what are you doing, buddy? You cannot walk around in the jungle when you've lost both inner towers in the lanes adjacent. That was very easy for Infused to pick up, and with him gone, this bot lane tower is just not long for this world.
And this is something that Infused have been doing regularly since we watched them in their last best of 3. The moment they have a massive advantage like this, they get deep vision and they sit in these bushes and wait for the enemy team to face check. They think they're gone, but they're not. Meanwhile, Nutri engages.
Yeah, explosive catch doesn't do much. Now Fari is just sitting on the back line trying to get on the Zivis. He does a decent amount of damage. There's the Mega Narc, flashes forward, gets Charlie T, but Polk is just alive in the back line doing some work. Great Orianna ultimate hits on the 3. But FM, they're defending. They're managing to stay in this. Polk is too busy hitting that inhibitor. Nutri, he's the next target. Is he going to be able to get onto Arfan? It looks like he lands a knockup. Polk has to deal with Zivis here. Toaster has respawned. He doesn't get the kill. FM defend.
That is pretty amazing coming out from FM. You can see now with the massive gold advantage on Zivis, he was able to carry that team fight around. The front line of Wisdom and Nutri, as well as Tundra, really prevented them from getting onto Zivis. And initially, I felt like Alfari, look, he still has his ultimate. I don't know why he decided not to use it. Perhaps it was on cooldown as a result of going on to Toaster earlier on, but the fact that he was so caught up in all the crowd control, the fact that they couldn't get onto Zivis and bring him down, meant that he was doing consistent, reliable damage. And with that Lich Bane completed, he was just consistently throwing out a massive amount of magic damage. And as a result, they managed to pick themselves up 4 kills there, and they defend their inhibitor and get a tower back. So now the gold has actually been decreased. There's only now a 3,000 gold difference between these two teams, and all of a sudden the game has gotten a lot more close.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the later this game goes, the better a spot FM are in. You can see Infused really trying to put as much pressure down as possible, but every time it fails, the game starts to slip out of their grasp, because later on, they just aren't going to do quite as much. Except for Alfari, who I would argue probably becomes stronger. Righteous Glory Pop, they're trying to go onto Wisdom here. Undertow doesn't land. Arfan, he's really trying to stick onto this. Great Winner's Bite. Wisdom is really going to struggle to get out of here. Memento coming in as well. I do not know why Wisdom stayed so far out without team support, but that is not good news for FM. They need to be giving up as little of these advantages as possible if they want to extend this game until a later point.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and you can see that he did his very best to try and get some deep vision down, but it ended up backfiring and he got caught out. Meanwhile, FM trying to push in and Arfan.
Whoa! Glacial Fissure coming out here by Arfan. Alfari and him trying to go in. Gnar used in order just to disengage, but we got Memento coming in from the back here. He's flanking. He's not going to be able to go in though. There's Toaster. There is Nutri. And now Ziv is here as well. This is going to be a hard sell for the fight. Oh, that was a blow up on a Memento. Nutri's coming in here, still has explosive cast, flashes forward, doesn't get Polk though. That was a disastrous ultimate on what could have been a great catch. Alfari locked up, so is Arfan by that gravity field. Oh, the shockwave misses completely, and FM, they take that fight.
They definitely do, and initially it was looking really bad for FM, Tundra getting picked off by Nidalee, but you saw the huge amount of damage coming out from Civiz. He just dropped his ultimate, and that dropped Memento immediately. It's literally like dropping a Mento into a bottle of Coke. He just exploded everywhere, and while Infused were trying to retreat, they just were unable to, and that beautiful gravity field locking up both Alfari and Arfan enabled Toaster to catch up with the rest of his team. He used On the Hunt, and thanks to a few lucky crits, he picked himself up a kill onto Arfan, and now definitely the momentum swinging back in favor of FM. And unfortunately, I just feel it's as a result of some, well, initially it was Infused they were being very proactive. They made a very good plan, and they picked themselves up a Baron, and with that Baron, they gained a very solid lead, and they had a very good game plan coming in, but then they overextend, they throw that initial lead that they have, and now it's swinging back in FM's favor. FM are doing a good job with getting vision control. They're doing a good job of pacing around the Baron. Meanwhile, we do see Tundra getting a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, Poke's got to be careful going in like that on a Tundra who is nearly Meganar. Wisdom was coming around from the side, too. It could have gone very badly. Ziv is trying to put some pressure on Arfan in the middle lane, but both these teams have some really tanky members. It seems very difficult for either one to make a dent through Poke, and that is hurting Infused more than it's hurting FM, because they are more reliant on that Poke that we're talking about. Right now, they need to utilize Teleport on Alfari, split push, and try and put pressure everywhere on the map. It's exactly what they're doing. This is exactly what they need to be doing.
Yeah, I like the fact that Toast has been sent bot, because still no real armor coming out from Alfari, but the teleport does come in. It does look like they're actually going to start this Baron off.
Tundra's immediately responding, though, and this time they do not have the numbers advantage they had before. Wisdom, he's going to get collapsed onto, but he gets a good pulverize, knocks Momentu way out of the fight. Toaster in the backline, though. Alfari, he is right onto him. There's a good Gnar ultimate peeling for the AD carry. Meanwhile, in the rest of the fight, we got a lot going on. Ziv is doing a good job, jumps onto the backline, blows up Charlie T, takes out Poke. That is an ace for FM, and I'm pretty sure Infused is just out of this game at this point.
I mean, massive credit to Nutri there. Well, initially, they engage onto Wisdom, but Nutri comes in from the flank, and the carries from Infused get scared. So Nutri, recognizing that they're scared, engages onto them, splits up the team. So you've got 3 carries on the side of Infused, split up in the top half of the map, while you've got Memento and Alfari fighting with Toaster and Tundra in the bottom half of the map. And while initially it looks good for Infused, the moment that all this hard engage coming out from Infused is wasted on Wisdom and Tundra, it makes it easy for Toaster and Zivis to clean up the fight. And basically, Zivis and Nutri, 2 versus 3 in the top half of that fight. Zivis is just doing so much damage right now. He completed his Void Staff before that fight, and he was just doing so much damage. He instantly drops Charlie T, and when he wasn't expecting it, Pulk gets dropped as well, and now it's just everything is swinging in the favor of FFM. They pick up the Baron, they pick up the first inhibitor of the game, and they leave the middle inhibitor exposed. So definitely well played by FM. Fantastic team fight coming out from them.
I really feel like FM kind of outpicked Infused this game. You know, at what point in the game is Infused's lineup significantly stronger? Right? It's basically Corki's Triforce Spike. That's about it. They don't have enough late game, especially with a middle jungle. You just don't get the damage you need on your spears. You know, this late into the game, Tundra can walk around doing what he wants. Zivis can burst almost anyone down. It's so hard for Infused right now to find a way back into the game.
I definitely agree with you. They had a very strong early game team, and they were in a position to maximize that early game advantage that they had, but they overstayed at the bottom inhibitor, and their poke wasn't able to be used versus the hard engage. And the moment FM got into the swing of reliably using their hard engage, they were so confident in picking these fights, and you saw that in the last engage. Nutri didn't even hesitate. He just went straight in and forced the fight immediately. And now with the Baron on top of that, there's no way that FM are going to be even slightly scared. They're going to pick these fights without a moment's hesitation, and with the basically full builds now for Zivis, I can't see any way of Infused winning these next few fights.
I mean, they've even got the Lich Bane on Zivis. That just makes his tower pushing so disgusting. I mean, with 2 inhibitors down, a 3rd is likely going to follow. I think Infused need to start looking towards next game. This is a best-of-3 finals. This is only game 1. What do they need to do next time around? That's the big question. But they're going to try and go in here. They need to make something happen. And a great disengage comes out immediately from FM. They can't find anything from here.
Yeah, now the ultimate is doubt for Alfari, which means that he's going to be locked up by the crowd control available from Ziviz and Vizdom, so that's not very fortunate. He needs to hold on to that ultimate until he really needs it. It does obviously give him MR and armor, which is always useful when you're running flat out into the enemy team, but right now, the fact that it's actually it's on an incredibly short cooldown, so they might be able to wait, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold their tower long enough before it's off cooldown again.
Well, it looks like Baron has just faded, which is a big deal, but whoa, that's a lot of burst damage on a Memento Chaos Storm coming in across the wall. Tundra, he transforms, gets that base HP Charlie T, he's caught out, doesn't manage to land the shockwave on a toaster due to the spell shield, and now FM, they're just wiping the floor with Infused, rolling through their base, picking up the inhibitor, picking